Welcome to day 20 of our January challenge play along video, where we will also, after we've done the play along bits, go into a bit more depth as well for anyone that would like a bit of a steadier pace approach. So let's first of all play through today's learning at a decent hefty speed to start with, and then we'll maybe slow it down a bit as well. So this is starting today from bar 25. Nice and loud. Later on we're going to diminuendo and we'll try and rit just before that very final chord. 1 and 2 and You've really got to feel that rit at the end. I wonder if we could just maybe take that just a tiny bit faster and just watch when you get to the... that you only bring out the top thumb. Gently down the stream. And that everything else is an accompaniment. Okay, one more time then. Nice good speed. 1 and 2 and Super. Okay, we'll try it a bit slower now. Okay, same thing from bar 25. 1 and 2 and we could maybe even slow down even more before that last chord. And finally, a bit slower again. 1 and 2 and Super, well done. So what I will do tomorrow is a rest day from learning anything new, but I will do a play along of the whole piece tomorrow for you to come and visit, just to see if you can play it along with, and I'll maybe start with the slower speed tomorrow and build up to the quicker speed again. But for anyone that would like to stick around now, I'm going to just go over today's learning in a bit more depth. So we started with the very comfortable tune that we know in our right hand. C, 3, 2, 1, C, D, E. Straight back on the same notes, thumb on the E, finger 2 on the D. 1, 2, crossing under, 1, 2, and then here we just open out the triad, and our left hand's going to answer with the same triad down there, G, E, C. Okay, so if we just do the gently down the stream from the E, D, and left hand can stay out of the way for a minute, but join us for that last triad. So just the right hand and left hand's just going to do that final answer. So gently down the stream, E and D, 1 and 2 and that's lovely. So that we really bring out that G. Gently down the stream, and everything else just sits underneath it. As you do that in the top hand, the trick here is to play that F, and before you play the thumb, to hop 2 and 3. Just let them fall out, and as they naturally fall open, the triad shape is usually where they will want to land. Do that in speed. 1 and 2 and 1 and okay. Left hand then underneath, let's do those 2 bars for the start. Left hand underneath there is on finger 2 on middle C, thumb on the E above, We play that, play it again, then C on its own, and then we get ready on the triad. Okay, if we do that again, just the left hand, C and E, 1, then 2, and then the triad. And just try as far as possible to open the hand up to the triad without kind of curling our fingers up to look at what we're doing. Just let your hand open up and trust that you've fallen into the right shape gap. And you can practice that opening up into a triad shape. You can practice that anywhere on the harp. So you could say, okay, I don't even think I'm going to particularly aim for any note. I'm just going to open and see, have I landed on a triad shape? And I'm not even necessarily then going to play those notes. I'm just going to be practicing that move. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And just teaching my hand the size of that gap. And then do a few more practices nearer the actual strings you want, so you get really comfortable with the exact spacing in that area. And then you might practice playing middle C and opening up and just trying that. Should we just try that together? So this is effectively playing the left hand of bar 28. What we're doing is right hand finger 2 on middle C, sorry, left hand finger 2 on middle C, left hand, and then opening out to the triad and playing it downward. 1, 2, 3, down, like that. So if we do that in time, 1 and 2 and you might practice that quite a few times. And then if we bring that back into the piece, we'll do hands together gently down the stream, bar 27 on your music. If you're looking at that, thumb then of the right hand is on the E, finger 2's on the D. Left hand sitting on middle C and the E just above it. 1 and 2 and should we try that again? Same thing, exactly the same place. Okay. 1 and 2 and well done. Okay, I'm going to go back a bit with our left hand now. Back to the beginning of today's learning, bar 25. That starts again. Left hand finger 2 on middle C, thumb on the E. This is nice and easy. And then we're going to play E, D, C, which is 3 in a row, but we're going to try and do fingers 2, 3, 4. Main reason for those choice of fingers is fitting in with something that appears in JaNEWary's Rondo. So it's a little preparation, which is what this piece is about. It's about preparation or preparing yourself to then learning JaNEWary's Rondo piece. It's a little fingering pattern that he uses. And so if you can practice it in this piece, when you then come across it in JaNEWary's Rondo, it just feels really comfortable. Okay, so we just try that left hand from bar 25, the beginning of today. So the C and the E as a chord. You play that twice and then we move 2, 3, 4. Just the same range of notes you've just been on with that middle one in the middle. So 1 and 2 and okay. We put that with the tune in the top hand. The top hand's playing C, C, and then 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we try that together. See how we get on. 1 and 2 and so how did you do getting on the 3 in a row? Did you find yourself fumbling a little bit trying to do both hands at once? If we just practice that left hand again, and then 2, 3, 4. And you could even practice that without playing the last notes. You could just practice playing the chord and placing the 2, 3, 4. And just letting them fall on. And again, much like our triad shape we were talking about, if I just show you with my left hand, with my right hand, sorry, show you with my other hand. If you can allow those fingers just to fall open, not to kind of claw their way on. So often in our left hand, I want to see where my fingers are going, so I'm going to pull them up here. And then we've got a really funny shape and we've got to then get back into shape. Just let them open out. And that pattern of 3 notes with 2, 3, 4, again, you could practice that anywhere on your harp. Whether you play them as a little clashy chord, whether you go 2, 3, 4, just wherever they land, as long as they show that they're 3 in a row, then you're teaching that hand that shape and really getting comfortable with it. Let's try it again with the top hand. This is the beginning of today's tune. Row, row, row your boat. 1 and 2 and get ready and well done. Okay, top hand then goes back on the same notes for gently down the stream. You've been doing this a lot, so that should feel starting to feel quite natural. Left hand just back to the C and the E, and we carry on. So where we've just landed, 1 and 2 and gently down the stream. Okay, so let's try those 4 bars all together. Bar 25, our newest statement of our tune. Both hands have got a finger 2 on the red. Our left hand has also got the thumb on the E. Okay? And again, if you need to drop one hand or the other, you can. Try while you're playing along to drop the top hand so that you're really working on that left hand, because the more confident that hand becomes, the easier you'll be. It's always much easier to bring that tune back in. So, you know, let yourself focus in on the left. If you're going to drop one hand or the other, drop your melody hand and let your left hand have a bit of a workout. It'd be nice. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2 and carrying on and well done. Okay, and you might play through that a few more times. Our next little bit, think about the notes that belong in our C arpeggio. We've been doing this C arpeggio every time we've got to this part of the tune, our merrily, 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 merrily part. It's always the C major arpeggio notes. So that will be a C going down to a G, down to an E, down to a C. Will be only those notes that fit into this bit here. And what we're doing is we're playing the top 2 notes together in our right hand. So we've got our thumb on the high C and our finger 2 on the G. So the highest 2 notes of a C major arpeggio. And we play those together. And we do that again. And then we jump down, and where our finger 2 just was, which was the G, we put our thumb onto it, and we let our finger 2 now go on the E. We're either side of that black F. So just practice that move again. Bring your thumb back up to that high red, finger 2 on the G. And there's not a lot of time to do the jump, so the timing there is 1 and 2 and okay, let's try that together. 1 and 2 and that's brilliant. Okay, then no repetition there, so you can get ready on the next one. Again, where your finger 2 was, which was the E, becomes where your thumb's now going to go. Thumb on the E, finger 2 on the red C. And then a C all on its own. Okay, so that last little bit, thumb on the E, finger 2 on the C, we have, and we have it again, and then just the C all on its own with that same finger 2. And if you've got a lovely gap between your finger 2 on the string and your thumb on the string, and your letting that finger 2 hit right into the hand and bounce back out. Then that repeated finger 2 on the same string won't feel awkward. Okay, so let's try all of that right hand part. Thumb on the high C, finger 2 on the G. We're going to do that 2 times, a long, short, and then it's a jump. 1 and 2 and okay, so okay, even though we're not playing the rhythm of merrily, merrily, your listener will hear it. You're filling out the key notes. Okay, our left hand is very important in this because our left hand is filling out any gaps that are in there in terms of this rhythm that we're doing. So our left hand is going to sit ready. This is nearer to middle C, just above middle C. Thumb is on the G, just above the black. Finger 2 is on the E, just below the black. So your left hand is either side of this black string. Left hand isn't doing it as chords, it's doing it as single notes. So we go 1, 1, 2. Then we're going to move down, we're going to put our thumb on middle C, we're going to reach out our finger 2, a slightly bigger gap to the G below. Okay, so just try that again. So it starts on the G with your thumb, either side of the black above middle C. I'm just going to count 1 and then we'll start it. 1 and good, and move middle C. That's it, well done. Let's just do that one more time. I'm only counting 1 and because it's coming in on the second beat of the bar there. So here's our count. You're ready either side of that black. 1 and moving down. Okay, so not too tricky in itself, if you can get that jump. It's then the fitting of it together. So my top hand is sitting ready, thumb on the high C, finger 2 on the G. And then our left hand is either side of the black. And what happens is we play merrily, and then as we get to this merrily, left hand joins in, merrily. So the left hand's playing the Lee part. Top hands move down. That one now gets the merrily bit. Merrily. And then as we do our last merrily, the left hand's leading. And then this G belongs to what's happening next, but it's good to practice it in that move. Should we try that in time? Nice and slowly. So we're happy where we are. All the notes we've got on here belong to a C major arpeggio. We haven't snuck in any random D's, F's, A's or B's. Okay. 1 and 2 and merrily, 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 merrily. Okay. Let's do this one more time, but when you land on that last G in the left hand, could you add a high G up there as well? So we have that last merrily and the 2 G's there, okay? So just exactly what you've done, but at the very end, as you're about to play our last G in our left hand, add a G up high in the top hand. I'll give you a call as we do it as well. Okay, so we're ready. Right hand, C and G, left hand, either side of the black F. Top hand's going to start. 1 and 2 and ready on the high G. G. Excellent, well done. Okay, and then we've just got our last 2 chords, so it's good getting that G both hands. The next 2 chords in the left hand you did a couple of days ago on day 18, where you had the G that you've just played again with a B above it, and then we're going to move down from we're going to put finger 3 on the red here and our thumb on the G there. Okay, this is all in the left hand. I'm just showing you the visual in that right hand. So the left hand has just landed on that G that we've just done at the end of that little bit of Merrilies. And then we've got G and B, and then down to a red at the bottom and the G one more time. Okay. The top hand, that new G that we've just recently added in, which lands with that G down there. Then it's a bit of a jump, so we'll want to practice this. Our finger 3 is going on the black just above middle C onto that F, and our thumb above it is on the D, one note above the red up there. And then just move that down one, and that's our final chord there. So we've got the F and the D going down to E and C. Okay, so they fit together. We've got the G on their own in both hands at the same time. Then you move, this hand just goes back on and adds the thumb on the B. The right hand's done the jump, and you're aiming for that black with your third finger and one above the red. And you want to try and practice just opening your hand to that size. Opening your hand up and landing, rather than going it's this and then this. Just try and open your hand up. All of those happen at the same time, so you've got a G and B in the left, an F and the D in the top hand, and they're going to play together right now. Then the top hand just moves down one, left hand's got the G again, and you just open your hand out, let your finger 3 fall onto that red at the base. And in the main video, I talk about how those notes you end on there, I'll just show you it visually. You've got the C and the G in the bass there. If I hop those up an octave, just so that you can see the visual of what we're doing chord-wise here. And then if I maybe put them into my other hand. C, E, G, C. It's just an arpeggio. All the notes that belong to an arpeggio or to our C chord that's been shared out between the octaves across the harp to make a really rich sounding final chord. And this little pattern of notes, these last 2 chords there, are the same exactly as the final 2 chords in Grandjeannie's Rondo. So it really fits together. Okay, let's try our last 2 bars, playing it together. So both are on a G, and then we're going to do that jump. We'll try it in speed for the minute. 1 and 2 and ready and well done. Okay, if we bring that back in to the last 4 bars now, that's where we were doing these little hops through the C major arpeggio pattern, like this. Okay, so shall we try that together? So your right hand's on the top C with your thumb, finger 2 on the G, left hand's either side of the black, and we'll play it nice and steadily together. 1 and 2 and And the joy of having a writ on those last 2 chords, and writ means to slow down. Joy of having that slow down there just gives you that little bit longer to find your final chord. And so long as you don't convey an anxiety about finding that chord to your audience, they won't think of it as anything other than a natural slowdown. So if I do it with the slowdown, just the last 2 bars, just have a listen to it. 1 and 1 and all very calm, very intended. Okay, big difference between doing that and doing. Oh, where am I going? Oh, it's here. In how you convey it, big difference. Lovely. Shall we try just have a go at doing what we've learnt just today, bar 25 through to the end. Nice and steady. If you have to drop a hand, maybe today just drop the top hand and let your left hand have a nice little workout. We'll start, so both finger twos on the red, left thumb on the E. 1 and 2 and very well done. Good work. Tomorrow I'll play through the whole thing for you.